Alex and Sarah loved each other. 20 years. 20 years is not a short time. It was enough to turn a 17-year-old schoolboy nursing a foolish first love into a middle-aged man, with a steady career and a family of his own. For Alex, life was a stable, predictable orbit, lacking drama, but also lacking nothing essential. He was a successful engineer, with a kind wife and 2 good children. He thought he had completely forgotten his high school friend, the girl who had made his heart beat so intensely throughout his high school years. Until that day. The class reunion celebrating 20 years since graduation. The phone rang insistently. The screen showed a name he thought had been permanently confined to memory: Sarah. Alex. Is that, do you recognize me? Her voice was still clear, just with the added, mature depth of a grown woman. Sarah. Is that really you? It's been 20 years. Alex tried to keep his voice calm, but a small storm was already brewing in his heart. They met at an old, tucked-away coffee shop deep in an alley near their old school. Alex arrived early, waiting in indescribable anxiety. Then the door opened. The afternoon light shone in, clearly outlining a woman's silhouette. Sarah walked in. Her eyes were still large and twinkling with the mischief of youth, but now held the maturity and subtle beauty of a mother. Her long, slightly wavy hair fell loosely over her delicate shoulder. They looked at each other. In that moment, they were no longer Alex and Sarah of 40, but Alex and Sarah of 17, with the purest feelings that were never spoken. Alex. Sarah. They embraced, a hug that transcended all barriers of time and space. It was no mere polite handshake between old friends, but the outpouring of an emotion that had been suppressed for 2 decades. The familiar scent of Sarah's hair reached Alex's nostrils, awakening every dormant sense. They talked for hours. About life, about work, about their children. Both had families. Sarah had married a successful man, and also had 2 small children. Are you happy, Sarah? Alex asked, his voice strained, as if asking himself. Sarah looked out the window, where the yellow leaves were falling. I'm stable. A marriage of responsibility. My husband is a good man, but he's busy. We haven't talked about deep things for a long time, Alex. I live like a shadow, Alex. A shadow in a house that's too big. But Alex, I never stopped thinking about you. The statement was like a thunderbolt. Alex felt his heart clench. The restraint of all those years suddenly burst. Me neither, Sarah. I tried to bury it, got married, had kids, worked like a machine. I thought responsibility would kill the memory. But I was wrong. The moment you walked in, everything came back stronger than ever. I look at you, and I see the person I should have married, the person who should have been the mother of my children. Their honesty, their refusal to deny the truth, broke the fragile wall of morality. They didn't seek justification, they merely admitted a cruel reality: they were in love. That love, sealed by time, now burned fiercely. The days that followed saw them rush into a frantic, consuming affair. Secret meetings, clandestine texts, hurried hand-holding. Guilt tore at them, yet the happiness of being together was too great, too overwhelming. They found in each other the missing pieces that their current marriages couldn't provide. They chose to dive headfirst into it, knowing that this fire could burn down the 2 worlds they had meticulously built. The illicit, tense, and passionate relationship began. Their lives turned into a chain of lies and secretive dates. Alex fabricated excuses about sudden business trips or working late. Sarah told her husband she was meeting clients. A small, discreet hotel on the outskirts of the city became their secret sanctuary. The first time they stepped into that room, the air was thick with tension and awkwardness. They stood facing each other, so close they could feel each other's rapid breaths. When the door closed, all reason and moral constraints seemed to be locked outside. Sarah buried her face in Alex's chest, inhaling the familiar scent, the scent of a 17-year-old memory. Alex held Sarah tight, feeling her softness, her smallness, as if clinging to the lost years of their youth. Their frenzy, their order, was not just instinctual, it was revenge for 20 wasted years. Amidst the muffled sobs of guilt were interspersed rapid, suppressed breaths. The small room bore witness to the emotional catharsis of two souls who had endured too much loneliness. Guilt always followed them like a shadow. After each encounter, as they put on their proper work clothes and picked up their briefcases or handbags, they returned to their roles as model spouse and parent. Alex constantly faced his wife's trusting eyes and his children's innocent smiles. Sarah faced her husband's indifference and the emptiness in her too large house. Once, after a meeting in another city, as they said goodbye at the train station, Sarah suddenly gripped Alex's hand. "Alex." Her voice trembled. I just passed a pharmacy. I bought them." Alex instantly knew what them meant. He felt a cold current run down his spine. The small white pills in Sarah's purse were not just a precaution, they were the symbol of their wrongfulness, of a relationship that was passionate, but incredibly dangerous. They tried to utilize every precious second. In those cramped hotel rooms, their private sounds became distinct and haunting, the click of the lock turning, marking the sealing off of the outside world. The slight creaking of the floorboards under pressure, sometimes a gentle coquette sound, like the whispering of the prohibition, the wrongness taking place. Sarah's gasping, choked breaths after intimate moments, not from exhaustion, but from release, from the bursting of repressed emotions. Those sounds were the witnesses to their guilty love, the tragic soundtrack to their reunion. Alex and Sarah's relationship escalated into a state of dependence. They couldn't live without each other. Every text, every secret call had become their lifeline. One rainy afternoon, in their familiar hotel room, Sarah buried her face in Alex's chest. "Alex, I feel like I'm about to break. I'm afraid to go home. I'm afraid they'll find out the truth, but I'm even more afraid of losing you." Alex replied, squeezing her hand. "Me too, Sarah. The more I'm with you, the more clearly I see how meaningless my current life is. I betrayed my wife, but the biggest betrayal was to myself, for abandoning you 20 years ago. Recklessness always came with risk." One day, while Alex and Sarah were in the hotel room, Sarah's phone rang persistently. The caller ID showed, "Husband." Sarah rushed to answer, trying to suppress the strain in her voice. Her husband asked detailed questions about her location, about the people she was meeting. Suspicion had begun to brew. When the call ended, Sarah collapsed onto the bed, her face pale. "He is starting to suspect, Alex." I answered too slowly. "I'm not good at lying." Their secret safe house was compromised. Alex and Sarah decided to meet one last time to clarify everything. They chose a deserted park, under the dim streetlights. "We can't continue like this, Sarah," Alex said, his voice deep and heavy. "Our pain is starting to hurt innocent people. We've had an incredible time. But we're risking too much. So, what are you going to do?" Sarah looked at him, her eyes brimming with tears. "I can't do it. I can't forget you, and I can't keep lying. But I also can't destroy everything my wife and I have built, and what about our children?" Alex choked up. Sarah gave a bitter laugh. "So, we choose to keep the responsibility, and give up the love." She stood up, turning to walk away. "Wait, Sarah." Alex tightly grasped her hand. He pulled her back, holding her close in one final embrace, an embrace filled with regret, love, and despair. I love you. Always have. But I'm sorry. We don't belong together in this lifetime. Sarah didn't cry out loud. She just buried her head in his shoulder, suppressing a painful sob. She knew they had been brave enough to live for love once, and now, they had to be brave enough to let go. Alex and Sarah broke off contact. Their lives returned to their old orbits, but they were no longer whole. Alex tried to be a better husband and father. He was grateful for the stability his wife provided, but sometimes, lying next to her, he remembered the passion, the absolute understanding he only found with Sarah. Sarah lived with an emptiness nothing could fill. She was still a devoted mother and wife, but deep down, she was a woman who had lost her soul. 5 years later, 10 years later, Alex had become a vice president. His children were grown, off to college. His life seemed more fulfilled. But every time he traveled for work through the old outskirts, his heart would ache when he saw those faded hotel signs. He knew, the memory of the creaking floorboards and Sarah's hurried breaths could never be erased. It was a part of his soul left behind. As for Sarah, she changed jobs, took her children abroad for college, searching for a new start. Her marriage remained formally intact, but cold. One cold winter night, standing alone on a balcony in a strange city, she unexpectedly burst into tears. She wasn't crying over her current loneliness, but over the bravery it took to choose to leave the person she loved most. She understood that their love had saved them from meaninglessness, but that same love had forced them to grow up and accept life's brutal truth. They never contacted each other again. They lived two parallel lives, carrying a sweet yet painful secret. Each consoled themselves that it was better to keep a perfect, dazzling memory than to ruin it with a messy, uncertain reality. Their secret affair ended, but it left a deep scar and a bitter lesson. Intense love, appearing at the wrong time, forces one to choose between instinctual desire and moral responsibility. And they, the tormented adults, understood that sometimes, the greatest love is the one buried in silence.